On this week's edition of Why, we have a Kichler Canfield ceiling fan. Yup, you heard me right. It's a Kichler Canfield. And I got this fan from the Leesburg habitat in Florida. And yeah, I mainly got this fan for two reasons. One, it was a childhood fan. And number two, it was freaking cheap. We're talking very, very cheap. Dirt cheap. $5 I paid for it, which is a steal, which I say is a great deal for one of these. And yeah, overall it's not a bad fan, but it's really common though. It's really good for what it is, honestly. This fan uses a 172 by 20 millimeter motor with a 14-degree blade pitch, which I say this fan is quite decent. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this fan started off on low. And for me, honestly, it's not really a disappointing fan. I'm so happy that I got this because it does put out a pretty good amount of air. And yes, the reason why I got this thing, it was very cheap and it was also a childhood fan. Because normally I wouldn't be caught walking dead with this thing. Because they're just so common. I mean, I see them everywhere in Orlando. I see them everywhere in Leesburg. I see them everywhere in Florida. So yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead walking with one of these, to be honest, because they're just too common, you know. But it's not because of the quality. It's just everywhere, and it's pretty plebe. And yeah, the low speed on this fan is a bit fast in my taste. It's not the slowest low, but I could go for a little slower low, honestly. Let's go to medium on this fan. And you can see there's a nice Kichler logo on it. And honestly, the speeds on this fan need to be a little bit slower between the medium and low. Because I feel like medium's a bit too fast because the capacitor value is pretty high. So when I find a permanent spot for this, I'm going to drop the capacitor value a little bit to lower that medium speed because that medium speed is just way too fast. But it is moving a very good amount of air, so it's not something to be disappointed about, but I feel like I want a slower medium than this because this is not an original. This is a spinner motor fan, and I feel like the low speed and medium speed should be a bit slower. So honestly, yeah, that's one thing I'm only going to complain about it, but in terms of performance, but nothing that much. And all right, that's it with medium. Let's go to full power. And high speed, we're moving a lot of air, honestly. For a fan with a 172 millimeter motor, I am definitely impressed by this thing. The blade pitch with the 14 degrees also really helps this fan perform very well. And I mean, it's really powerful. But, you know, but I feel like the high speed could be enhanced a little bit, a tiny bit, by adjusting the cap from 4.5 microfarad to 5 microfarad itself. But I feel like, but it's still powerful enough to be on par with some of my K55 fans, honestly, which I am very impressed, to say the least, with a fan with the spinner motor of the size, because a lot of hunters do it with the 172 by 20 and they perform like a K55 fan, which is something good to say. But yeah, that's high speed. It's moving in a lot of air. Airflow, and it's moving a ton of air, which I'm very impressed for a fan with the 172 by 20 millimeter motor. It's not disappointing at all. I mean, this is a very good product for a newer fan, honestly. But it just needs a little bit more And all right, now I'm going to turn the fan off. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.